Okay, let's dive straight in. Today we're journeying into a really fascinating part of Baloch and Sindhi culture.
We are. We're talking about the folk tale of Sassi Punnu.
Exactly. And look, this is much more than just a simple romance, isn't it? It's really a lens.
A lens into the history, the spirit, the values of the region, yeah.
And it's one of those tales that's been passed down for generations. You hear it in songs and storytelling.
Absolutely, a cornerstone of the oral tradition there.
So geographically, we're talking about roofs in the Kek region of Balochistan, that's Makran, and also Bamhor in Sindh.
Right, and understanding those connections between the areas is key to understanding the story's reach.
Definitely. It takes us back to a different time, doesn't it? The narrative suggests this era of, well, maybe simpler paths, but profound connections.
A time where maybe true love, that kind of unconditional sincerity, could really flourish.
Right. But what makes this story, Sassi Punnu, so resonant? Why is it more than just another tragic tale we tell?
That's the core question, I think. It's how this story of love and loss gets so tangled up with identity.
Yeah, and the context is everything. It's not just what happened. So what can the origins tell us about, say, the values back then?
Well, let's start at the beginning with Sassi herself.
Okay, so the story goes, Sassi is actually a princess by birth, but there's a twist of fate. She's found as a baby, abandoned near Bamhor, and raised by a washerman.
Ah, the foundling trope. Classic. Sets up an interesting dynamic right away.
It does, and despite this humble upbringing, she grows up to be known for, extraordinary beauty, a gentle spirit.
So nobility shines through, perhaps, even without the palace upbringing.
That seems to be the idea. And then Punnu enters the picture, a prince from Makran in Balochistan.
Okay, how does he get involved? Miles away.
Well, word travels, doesn't it? Tales of Sassi's incredible beauty reach Balochistan, reach Punnu.
Intriguing. So he travels to see for himself.
He does. He goes to Bamhor, they meet, and bam, instant connection.
Love at first sight.
That's how the sources frame it. Profound, instantaneous, almost like destiny pulling them together.
It's a powerful theme, that fated bond. You see it in so many enduring stories.
But that kind of intensity, it often means trouble ahead, right? Raises the stakes.
Absolutely. You know there are going to be challenges. What obstacles did they actually face?
Well, the main one was Punnu's family, especially his brothers.
Family disapproval, a timeless conflict.
They strongly opposed the union, really vehemently, it seems.
Why? Was it a class thing or regional politics?
The sources focus more on just the disapproval, the unwillingness to accept Sassi. So they resort to deception.
Okay, how so?
They get Punnu drunk one night, incapacitated,
Yeah.
and then they forcibly take him back home, back to Makran.
Wow. That's brutal. A real betrayal.
It is. And this is where Sassi's character, her strength, really comes to the forefront, isn't it?
Definitely. How does she react when she discovers he's gone?
Upon discovering he's been taken, her response is just incredible resolve, no hesitation.
What does she do?
Alone, with no support, she just sets out, starts walking across the desert towards Balochistan to find him.
Just like that, across that terrain.
Yes. And the image is so powerful. This woman venturing into this incredibly harsh landscape, driven purely by love.
Yeah, the sources really emphasize the physical toll, don't they? The thirst, the injuries, the exhaustion.
They do. But her determination, her spirit, it just doesn't break.
That unwavering devotion, facing such immense hardship, that has to be central to why the story lasts.
I think so. It makes you really consider the sheer power of human will when love is the driving force.
It's like her love makes her almost superhuman, impervious to the desert.
That's the feeling you get from the telling. Her journey becomes this testament to the absolute power of her feelings.
So this incredibly arduous journey, how does it end? It's quite poignant, almost mythical, isn't it?
It really is. Tragically, her journey ends in the mountains. She doesn't make it to Punnu in Makran.
What happens?
Well, some versions of the story describe something miraculous, like the earth itself opened up, or she was absorbed into the mountainside.
Wow, like nature recognizing her ultimate sacrifice.
Kind of. A very powerful, symbolic ending. Meanwhile, Punnu eventually wakes up back home.
And realizes what his brothers did.
Yes. And he's just consumed by grief, utterly distraught. He immediately turns around, retracing his steps, frantically searching for Sassi.
Following her path back into the desert.
Exactly. And the narrative brings them together, but only in tragedy.
How so?
It's said that when Punnu reaches the very spot where Sassi vanished or died, he's just overcome.
That grief is too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he dies right there too, united with her in death.
So their fates are mirrored, a final tragic union.
It really solidifies their place as these enduring symbols, doesn't it? Sacrifice for love. It's heartbreaking, but also deeply romantic in a way.
No wonder it's had such a lasting impact. That kind of ending resonates.
So, pulling back a bit, the core message seems to be about true love transcending, well, everything. Earthly limits, distance, even death.
Exactly. It goes beyond just the narrative.
Right. It tells us something about the historical values, maybe. That idea of unwavering commitment, honor, within Baloch and Sindhi societies back then.
And the fact that it's still told, still share, as the sources say, told to children, sung in poetry.
It's a living part of the cultural tapestry, not just a museum piece.
It really highlights how that kind of pure, unconditional love can just become legend. It lasts.
It really does. And it leaves you thinking, doesn't it, about how these powerful stories manage to speak to us across centuries, across different cultures.
Yeah, it makes you consider that timeless nature of love and devotion.
And how fundamental human emotions get expressed, get valued in different ways around the world.
It's a powerful thought to sit with.
Definitely. Reflecting on a story that, after all this time, still speaks so strongly about the enduring strength of the human heart.